working, it's currently buried in my beard. Okay, AI and the future of SEO. Very bold title. Does anyone think they actually know the future of SEO? Neither do I. Yes, pretty cool. SEO is entirely crowdsourced. Here's what I'm up to. Some of it's working, some of it isn't. And then we'll have a discussion later on to find out what everyone else is up to. And then we might have a better idea of what's actually going on. So, in the last year, how many people have felt like this? With the rise of ChatGPT, the whole business is potentially going to be replaced in a week, whatever, similar sort of thing. So was I. And so key takeaways from this presentation, having gone deep on this over the last 6 months, I know a lot of people have done the same, but specifically for SEO, my conclusions are basically, fortune favours the bold. Most people aren't really implementing much. Lots of people are talking about AI. How many people are actually getting out there and testing stuff? Not so much. And I say that having talked to quite a lot of big guns in the industry. Secondly, adapt and thrive. Yes, it's scary. Most of you in here will have done businesses for a long time, which have had to reinvent themselves constantly over the last 5-10 years. So this really isn't anything new. Yes, it's scary, but it's just another change. And now we often talk about, if you want to succeed, then double your rate of failure. With AI, I like to talk about 10xing or even 100xing your rate of failure. Because you can do so much more now without actually increasing your workload. So, traditional dictates, and these people in my biography, started as a broke history of art student in London, where basically I wanted to be a writer, didn't really see how I could actually make it a career, and then I landed a job at an online menswear company, and found out that by blogging and mentioning certain keywords, you could actually make money, and that was a major part of marketing. So it seemed like I could, at least at the time, make a career as a writer. These days, not so sure. Then worked for an online magazine startup, basically trying to go viral on Facebook, very much the BuzzFeed era. Tried to apply that to my own website, and that was great for about 48 hours or so, trying to go viral online. But it doesn't really last. But then 6 months down the line, I realized some of my pages were actually starting to get traffic consistently over time from Google and actually selling products. That's when I realized what SEO actually is, not just slamming the keyword into the Yoast box at the bottom of WordPress. So with that, I then joined an online an insurance startup. They were spending 10k a month on ads. Meanwhile, I had my own hobby blog and doing affiliate marketing on the side, and I was doing quite well. So they were spending 10k a month on paid ads, literally getting no sales. It's a very competitive industry, and I kept pitching them, saying, this SEO thing is really working quite well for me, why didn't we try this? And they couldn't understand how blogging equated to selling insurance, but finally they agreed to try it. So they went from spending 10k a month on ads, now making 50k a month with zero ad spend entirely through SEO. So that then got headhunted into a much bigger insurance company, which is this one pictured. Initially it was work from home, then we had to go into the office. And they were working with 2 SEO agencies, basically because neither of them was actually delivering. And meanwhile, I tried to basically again pitch them, rinse and repeat, do the same thing again. But it's a much bigger corporate machine, they couldn't really give me that power, that leverage. So they're basically pushing me in this direction of, you're literally telling me I'd have more results, more success, more freedom if I were one of these SEO agencies. So why not just do that and do a better job than these current agencies are doing? So if we come to the present, it was about 9 months ago when ChatGPT first came out. As the photo earlier, literally buried my head in the sand, thought I'm not ready to work out what I'm doing with this yet. It was probably around February, March time, I thought that's probably the wrong approach. So I went deep, working out how am I actually going to use it. So eventually what I started doing was, I always use correlational SEO software. So my favorite is Surfer. I know there's debate about which one's best, but Surfer is nice and user-friendly for my team, my clients. And basically it takes your keyword and looks at your top 10 competitors, and will give you all the correlations basically. What are the things that they're doing that therefore you should be doing as well? So it's things like word count, not just your main keyword, but lots of other keywords as well. If you look at most mainstream SEO advice, people are still saying, write 500 words and use your keyword 5 times. That doesn't really cut it anymore. With a tool like Surfer, you put in your exact keyword, it'll tell you the word count, all these different keywords, and how many times to use each individual keyword. So what I started doing was prompting ChatGPT with those requirements. So I basically created this quite long prompt saying, I want you to write me a long-form SEO article using each of these keywords, the number of times indicated after 0 slash, because you have the recommended number of words after the 0 slash. Next problem, ChatGPT is very short form, so I have to say, I actually want you to respond in multiple sections, So can you start writing, and just go with the introduction, and then I will prompt you to come back and then complete the next section. So that's how you get one of these 3,000-4,000 word articles, which is generally around the average. Average articles around 2,000 to 3,000 words. And that's how you get that long form from ChatGPT. And then Surface now brought out a new feature called insert terms, where it will then blast through and try and include as many of those keywords as possible. So with this prompt, I was actually able to create perfect pages in Surfer in just 10 minutes. But it was a bit of a ball ache typing out this great long prompt every time. So I actually used ChatGPT while on a flight to DC Met to actually code this calculator, basically, where you copy and paste in the Surfer requirements, and it will then spit out the prompt at the bottom. It's not that complex, it just means you've got that prompt ready to go. With that QR code, you can access that prompt generator. And that's what we use still in-house. Then we move on to creating mass AI content at scale. So this is where probably the scariest thing for most of us, this idea that you can share out a website of 500 to 1,000 articles in an afternoon. So there's various tools out there you can use to achieve this. My favorite so far is autoblogging.ai. A lot of the time it does seem to be broken, but at times it does work, it works really, really well. It will give you a long form 2,000 word article with tables, data, really insightful stuff. So I tested this out at length back in November. This was pre-ChatGPT. I was one of those suckers who bought an annual plan for what at the time was the best AI software at the time called Article Forge, which just spits out mass pages, but very much of the old generation. But for some reason, this site I used it on in November actually started ranking. So this was around June. So I thought, Google clearly likes this website. So let's test out autoblogging AI, hit it with everything, just complete the niche. So we did 500 articles within about 2 weeks. Now normally, this is where people look at me suspiciously and say, but does that content actually rank? And this is where I normally show them a really nice graph showing, well, it's ranking, it's getting traffic for actual commercial terms, and it's working really, really well. Unfortunately, in preparing this presentation, I then noticed we have had a bit of a dip. But having said that, if you look at my so-called authority site, my several years long project of having actual subject matter experts, handwriting the content, EAT, all their author profiles, doing everything right, that's also taken a hit. So, and it seems like actually the AI site has had less of a hit than the human writer site. So I really don't think this has anything to do with the AI, much more to do with just the current turbulence we've got in Google results, where some sites are just getting hit, even if they're really good quality sites. So another project I'm working on is less about mass AI content and more about what I call minimum viable content. So a few years ago, I read a book on domain investing, which is basically talking about how you find search terms with volume for local services, software, things like that, sort by the cost per click. So basically what that traffic would cost in Google Ads. Sometimes it can be $50 per click. And from that, you can find the keyword-rich domain names, which can be really valuable, and you can flip those. And I realized I could scale this with my tools. So I bought hundreds, and then paused and thought, why would I actually flip these? If these are valuable domains, my skill is in SEO and getting traffic. Why don't I just build lots of even more valuable websites? Which basically meant I did nothing, because of course, with 200 domain names, scaling each of those sites would cost a fortune, was resource heavy, didn't have the time. So every year I had this painful reminder of this bright idea that didn't work out. I know we all had the same thing. That big domain renewal bill for 200 domains, whatever it was, reminded me I've actually done nothing with that project yet. But this year, I realized my opportunity. With that AI process, I basically routed my team, created an SOP, going through this list of domain names, launch the site, and we'll just put the basic homepage of ChatGPT, server optimized content, using that prompt generator, and then just leave it for 3 to 6 months. Because a new site takes 3 to 6 months to get any traction. And when you start out, you don't really know how it's going to perform. So these websites are terrible. This is just one example. Very basic WordPress template, and just long form content, fully optimized in Surfer using ChatGPT, 10-minute job. But 3 to 6 months down the line, we're starting to see a lot of them are actually starting to rank, getting good keywords. These are all high ticket, high value niches. Some of them are even getting traffic. So basically this allows us to test at scale how many of these projects are actually going to work. So I always encourage people, I think those of us in the room will agree, you always have these ideas for new ideas, side projects, side hustles, and it's normally a shiny object, normally a distraction, and you've got no idea whether it's actually going to work or not. So wouldn't it be great if there were a way you could satisfy that entrepreneurial itch to try a new project, but increase your chance of success? So basically, whenever I get a side project idea now, I'll follow this process. I'll get a domain name, put content on it, and that's it, and then leave it. If we do start to see that traction, people are starting to rank, maybe get some traffic, then we can level up. It's very much the venture capital model. So we'll then create more of a topical cluster using autoblogging.ai. So we're ranking for this one term, why not? Let's get the other 30 or so pages about this topic so that Google can see we're an authority. Then we'll do basic foundation links, so citations, basic listings of local business directories. They're cheap to get, they're not great links, it's just a good starting point. Press releases, again, very easy, very cheap. And then if all that works and we are starting to get traffic, then, oh crap, we've got this website that looks terrible, that's actually getting traffic and people are ready to buy from us, and it looks like that example I showed you. So then we go in, we edit it, make a really nice web design, high quality backlinks, PR, turn it into a proper website. If it's selling a product, then we either find a partner to fulfill that product, or otherwise work on actually developing the actual business model. And then we have parasite SEO. This is a bit of a sidestep. How many people here are aware of parasite SEO? Yeah, it's been talked about a lot in the industry, lots of professionals in the room. Basically, the theory behind parasite SEO is we know that Google is all about backlinks. Even though there's been a big trend in the last few years around quality on-page content, topical authority, backlinks still matter. Lately, Google is now saying the backlinks is no longer a top 3 ranking factor, but that's pretty much doesn't really work when you look at a site like Outlook India. This is a really famous parasite site that most of you will be aware of. It's got a domain rating, so it's power based on its links, of 89. And it's ranking for all these basically high ticket, often quite shady niches, best online casinos, dating sites, not in this screenshot, but lots of Street Picks, Feet Finder, terms like that. So the fact is these new sites have got a lot of power, a lot of authority, but they're broke, they're struggling to monetize. So it's quite easy to approach these websites and basically agree to a sponsored post. I'll give you $500, $1,000 if you give me the sponsored article. Now most top SEOs just link to affiliate products this way, but why not use it to promote your own business? So this is what I did with Outlook India. So I'm now on page 1 of SEO for Coaches. And the beauty of this is these big powerful websites, you can then hit these pages with quite a lot of brute force in terms of links, CTR manipulation, other tricks that you wouldn't necessarily want to apply to your own website because they're a big black hat, you get penalized. But if you're doing it to a massive news website, Google's quite unlikely to actually take down that news website. And if they do, then you've not lost your whole business. So Stephen Kang, quite a big SEO, recently launched a challenge in one of his Facebook groups. Basically, it's a parasite SEO challenge saying, let's see who can rank for rhinoplasty North Korea. Now in theory, there's no competition for this term until a load of SEOs start competing for it. Now normally I stay out of these competitions because when SEOs go head to head like this, it is just a pissing contest. It is a race to the bottom. Who's willing to spend the most money to win whatever prize, prize, whatever. So I stayed out of it, didn't fill in the form. And then there's a Saturday morning, I thought, I'm bored. And people were starting to say, look, my thing is ranking on page 1, etc. So I thought, fine, LinkedIn is actually a really good parasite. And a couple of years ago, they made LinkedIn pulse articles. So we're not talking about posts, it's where it says write an article on the homepage. Those are actually now indexed by Google. So again, using my prompt generator, knocked out page of content, 10 minutes, right at last in North Korea. And then I applied a load of this black hat stuff. So mass automated spam links, again, don't use it on your own website, but Google's not going to take down LinkedIn anytime soon. And then, we'll try it. And then CTR manipulation, which is basically a robot that will constantly search rhinoplasty North Korea and click on my result. So Google can see, this one's the most popular result, we should probably put that one higher up. 2 days later, I'm ranking #1. It's now been 10 days since I did that. I checked this morning, I am still #1. Like, guys, what are you doing? I've done nothing, and yet I've overtaken you all. And this is testing multiple geos. Even did a YouTube video on it, thinking, Now everyone's going to pile in and ruin it for me, still ranking. So this is the big thing with AI, that yes, it's very scary when you see all these opportunities out there, but everyone's just talking about theories. How much is that people actually? And I basically said, Sussex is the place to buy commercial property now, based on a fully representative survey. And again, we are actually seeing these posts are actually ranking for relevant keywords now. So yeah, it's no follow link, but who cares? There's still going to be some power there, and basically free. And as part of this article, obviously you always want to supply an image. You can just go onto a free stock photo site, but now I'm making some progress here. I'm thinking, how far can I actually push this? So you might notice this is a very weird housing estate that's all kind of swirly at the top left. So did they publish an AI image? Maybe. So this is meant to be an open discussion. So if you want to get in touch with me, that's my QR code. But now the plan is let's open it up to the floor. If you've had your own experiments, any questions, then let's share.
I'm just curious about your outreach. So you're saying that when the articles end up ranking, that actually ends up helping your link even more, because then you're getting some traffic authority and Google likes it more.
Yeah.
Well, why not just ask them to put a link in an existing post that's already ranking really high, and then you don't even have to write the content.
Yeah, that's how we started. So that's our main offer before, still is basically our main offer. So it's great that that post has got age and authority. I think relevance is always an issue. Ideally, you want a topically relevant site and a topically relevant page. So if you get a whole page to talk about your exact niche, then that's great. But if it is a real niche, then it can be quite difficult. What else? Also, the way they're written in the post won't necessarily be optimized with surfer, so it's just that next level of optimization.
So if there's a good match, then yes. If not, just write your own content for it.
Yeah, exactly. And the key thing now, like I say, is that human element. If we've made the guest place, people can recognize basic guest place. So what if we take the next level where it actually looks like this blog has actually taken the time to praise this client? Anyone else? Yeah.
How are tools like autoblog.ai better than ChatGPT with a good prompt?
So I compared side by side. I tried out Koala, autoblogging, tried ZimWriter, which is the most popular, but I've got a Mac and you've got to use Wineskin and let it really work. So based on my tests, Koala and autoblogging both got the same surface score. So it was around the mid-60s, which is perfectly good. I was aiming for, originally I used to aim for 70. That's what the creators of the surface say. Just get to 70 and move on, because then you're into diminishing returns. These days, try and push it a bit higher now that obviously anyone can produce that content so quickly, so let's try and take it up a level. And side by side, autoblogging versus Koala. Koala seemed a bit more human readable, I would say, but both actually got the same content score. And otherwise, the main factor was just pricing. So Koala, their starter plan was $9, and the price per word, which meant for that $9, I got one 3,000 word article. Whereas autoblogging.ai works out something like 40 pence per article, and they charge per article, even if it's a 2,500 word article. Only problem is, it quite often breaks.
Yeah, but that's still way more expensive than ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
So what do they do better than like ChatGPT with a really good prompt? You know, like because you don't have to use these tools necessarily.
No, I mean the dream, if I could actually be bothered, would be to take the prompt and use the OpenAI API to create my own blog content writer, and so go around to autoblogging's easy.
Can you explain parasite sites? What are they? I kind of got a little bit, but maybe you go a little more in depth.
Yeah, so you understand backlinks and domain rating, how powerful a website is based on its links. So I start a site today and spend years building up that domain rating, doing outreach, getting links to my site, and that's how you actually build a true asset. But if I just want to make a quick buck, either getting a few leads in or selling an affiliate product, then you can just write an optimized post and put it on someone else's website that's already a DR 80, 90. And even though Google's always saying backlinks don't matter anymore, if you look at the search results for pretty much any affiliate keyword, even best lawnmowers and that, it's all new sites. And next steps I'm looking into are, can we find more topically relevant parasite sites? So I found a local news site in the US, where basically you can publish a local news item for $75, and it actually ranks through. It's full of all the supplement reviews. They've just banned supplements, but you can still rank for, so I've got a commercial property site in Florida, so I found the link to the Florida site, still the usually it's outperforming the actual money site, my site. The other thing is, like I say, you've got that cushion against, and you get a lot more aggressive with the parasite post. So I'm talking about all these automation tools. So things like creating thousands of blog posts that are linked to the parasite page on Tumblr, Medium, things like that. You don't want to do that for your own site, but do it for LinkedIn, it works.
Just a heads up on that. If you're buying RO links that are less than 450 USD, they're too good to be true, and then doing exactly the strategy that you're saying with that process. So, because I've had PC members come to me and say, I'm getting really cheap RO links, etc., because that's exactly doing that process, and it's just really bad network if you actually are doing it to the site.
With the Kindle example, where's the link? So you should
Right, I think that competitor I say I'm not even in this niche. That example I found, I think within the actual Kindle ebook, there's their affiliate link. Does that convert? I very much doubt it. So this is just purely an academic exercise of, I'm fascinated, affiliate marketing with Kindle books, doubt it actually converts. That's pure SEO theory, a bit of fun.
And with the LinkedIn posts, do they allow you to link?
Yeah, and so another key thing about parasites is you actually want to link them together. So don't just do one parasite post, do multiple, link them all together. So you've got all these DR 1890s all linked together. So with my LinkedIn, I can go and find it, prove it's still ranking. Unless it's not, in which case that's embarrassing. Don't want the Amazon one. Still done bad clicked on it before, so it's not a fair test, but whatever. So I actually created several other pages. I linked to Wikipedia just to try and get more authority that way. Linked to the Amazon book. And another actual LinkedIn page. So I did this on my personal LinkedIn page, but I then actually created a LinkedIn company called Rhinoplasty North Korea. And then another page on Rhinoplasty North Korea. Irony being, my page ranked and the company one didn't. And I did link them together, so there might be some additional topical relevance there.
So what did you win?
Well, I told you I didn't even fill in the form. Yeah, so I got bored on Saturday and did it. And then I think it was on the Sunday, I thought I should probably fill in that form to say I'm actually doing this. And then it said, right, contest is closed and the forms are in. And I thought, I'm number one, but I'm not actually in it. And I commented saying, can I join? I forgot to fill in the form and didn't get a response. But it's been a great case study for YouTube. Now, that would be a really good thing to do, but I couldn't be bothered.
It's the third result, yeah.
I didn't expect this. Are you on it, did you say?
No, I just searched for it. Your two LinkedIn posts and then meeting someone.
How do we actually enter this competition? Because
It's basic stuff, yeah.
that's just destroyable.
Be my guest. Yes, Andy?
In the QR code, you've got like, which is your details to contact you, right? You've got a book, a call.
And it says the wrong time zone currently, yes.
Yeah, no, I noticed, like 1 minute past midnight tonight, I was thinking that's quite ambitious. But anyway, do you then do consults for players like me who don't know about this stuff?
No, you got to do it free. Yeah.
Basic beginner question. Where do you get started? Like, it's so exciting and I can see so much potential, but where should one start? What would be a good first step to start?
But cool.
Well, I mean, you already done my back things, but if I wanted to,
give you a
I
case
want some
study.
domains that I would maybe consider.
Yeah,
having
so
some-
there's a big theory that expired domains, not expired domains, exact match domains. So domains with the keyword don't work anymore. And that cat worked 10 years ago, doesn't work anymore. And we can see from, like I said, pretty much every search site I looked at, like I say, you've got all these big high DR sites dominating, and then you have one DR20 that's a tiny little business, but it's got the exact match domain name. So there's a big advantage there. So So definitely, probably take this approach. So we do the homepage with the ChatGPT content, a few other context clusters just to get that top resonance, then click the link. So press release, nice and easy, then outreach. One more time.
So concerning like AI and SEO, your vision, how long till Google search is relevant anymore?
Right, that's a very good question I didn't actually address. So the way I see it is most of us SEOs focus on affiliates and being like a gateway. So you'll take traffic from Google's arbitrage, you take traffic from Google, send it to a merchant. So one of the reasons I'm going after is trying to make all these basically businesses. So I give you an example, I've got Tara reading London.co.uk. Now the idea with that is that's a really simple local service business I can create where I can rank the page, if I get traffic, then I can go away and build, and it's working. So I did the basic homepage, did the citations to local business directories, and it ranks number 2 within 2 weeks on a brand new site. And that was because of Time Out London, all of those. So then I had to go away and find a few tarot readers, they are around. And so basically I set up